What's going on, guys? This is Ed Reviews here, flying solo for another. I think I'm going to call this an audio editorial. I just got out of the new Taika Waititi movie, JoJo Rabbit, and I just wanted to kind of go in more in depth than the quick thoughts videos on Instagram do on this because I am beyond impressed with how good this is, and we're nearing the end of the year. There's a lot more movies to get to before this, but it has a strong shot to finish in my top 5 movies of the year because it was that good. So I'm going to dive in first, just kind of give a little bit of the premise and talk about it, and then I might do some spoilery talks just because I think you need. Why it works for me kind of gives away what the trailers don't, so I might go into some spoilers. But yeah, this is a movie, from what the trailers show you, all you know is you follow JoJo. He's a 10-year-old German in World War II Germany who is joining the ranks of the Hitler Youth. Yeah, this is a movie that is very much. It's marketed as a satire of Nazis, and that is absolutely what it is. And like I said, I'll get to why it's smarter than you might think towards the end. But yeah, JoJo is a 10-year-old Hitler Youth who he's just like any other 10-year-old in Germany at that time in that he's kind of blindly following Hitler. He idolizes him, and he's the perfect Nazi in some respects. Until he finds out that his mother is harboring a Jew upstairs. And upstairs in his room. And as in what I read in the synopses? I actually don't know what the plural of synopsis is. But regardless, I was reading about this, and the synopsis just said it was going to be a movie about him wrestling with his blind nationalism and his love for his mother and desire to care for people. And one of the big aspects in the film, on top of him being in the Hitler Youth, is JoJo's got an imaginary friend. And his imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler. And it's Taika Waititi playing Adolf Hitler, an imaginary version. He's dumb like a 10-year-old in the. Sorry, guys. There's an edit there just because my grandmother came home and I had to quickly pause the recording, say hello to her. So yeah, as I was saying, Taika Waititi plays an imaginary version of Adolf Hitler that serves as kind of the grounding of JoJo's blind nationalism towards the Nazi Party, and that's all you get from those trailers. And the thing is, in order to talk about what really makes this work, I do have to kind of go into spoilers, so if you don't want to have the plot of JoJo Rabbit spoiled, I would end this here, but I will say I think this is pretty easily a 5 out of 5. It's up there for one of my favorite films so far this year. The standout performances, Taika Waititi as Hitler is really funny. I don't know what it is, but the way he plays this 10-year-old's imaginary version of Hitler, just really makes you laugh. It's something about his facial expressions, the way that they talk. It is really good. And the other one is, I believe her name is Thomasin McKenzie. I believe that's how you say it. She plays the Jew that JoJo's mother is hiding upstairs. And without giving away what makes her so brilliant, she is just absolutely brilliant in that movie. But yeah, so those are kind of my pre-spoilery thoughts. And if you don't want the rest of JoJo Rabbit spoiled, just end this audio piece here. 3, 2, 1. So going into the movie, I really wasn't sure what to expect. I'd seen the trailers. I'd seen a lot of people just saying it is a satire of Nazis. And I was like, oh, that could be really funny. When I saw the first trailer I always tell people my jaw was on the floor because I couldn't wrap my head around how in today's, I guess, PC culture, if you will, we were doing a movie that is just gonna make fun of Nazis. Like, I couldn't get how they would do this. Like, and I wasn't offended. I definitely thought, oh, like, it could be really funny. I think movies like this can be funny. But I just didn't. I was amazed that we were going to let this happen. But I definitely wanted to see it. I loved Thor Ragnarok, which was directed by Taika Waititi. And I just wanted to see. And I admit, beforehand, I did watch a few interviews he did with it. And he started talking about this message of love that the film has. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, like, I'll let you try this, but how in a movie that you're marketing as a satire that looks like a funny satire are you going to manage this? And I get it. I do. Because the important plot details that kind of explain why it's so heartfelt as it is so, like I said, JoJo is 10. He's like a scrawny little 10-year-old boy. He doesn't know how to tie his own shoes. I don't want to say he's like pathetic, but like he's the geek. He's the nerdy boy. Everybody makes fun of him. But his mother is very warm, very caring. His father is not around, quote unquote. You don't find out what happens to him till the end, and I won't spoil some of that stuff. But so, and like the mother has always been the source of comfort and love for him. And the thing about it is, it creates an interesting problem for JoJo because he has his blind allegiance to the Nazi party wrestling with the fact that his mother has done the one thing you don't do if you're a good Nazi, harbor a Jew. And he starts having scenes with, I believe, the character's name is Elsa, like I said, played by Thomasin McKenzie, I think was the name. I'm very sorry, I already blanked. I just got out of this. But the character's name is Elsa. So JoJo and Elsa share these scenes together. The movie opens with him going to like a weekend retreat for the Hitler Youth where they learn things, and he accidentally blows himself up with a grenade. So he's got like an injury in his leg, he has a limp, and of course, because the Nazis were the Nazis, they say he's pathetic, he's no longer a strong, good German. And that makes him sad. And he finds Elsa the Jew up in his room, and like he starts accusing her and starts saying all of the blind Nazi nonsense. And I guess in some respects, like, you would expect a movie like this to do this, but he starts to realize they form a friendship that I think it's implied it turns into a relationship. Like they're attracted to each other. They kind of go both ways in that he looks at her almost like an older sister, but also like at one point he calls her his girlfriend. And again, really smart because it's a 10-year-old. A 10-year-old wouldn't get that. But what it is JoJo learns that the Nazis are wrong in a very smart way. Unfortunately, his mother, played by Scarlett Johansson, is hung by the Gestapo because she was part of an underground resistance. And like they're powerful scenes, which is not what I was expecting. In that I thought this was just going to be a satire. But it's not a satire. Like, it is funny. Don't get me wrong. It is an extremely funny movie. But it's funny, for one thing, it only makes fun of the Nazis. And one of the things it makes fun of is the things that the Nazis would say to people. I'm actually in my college this semester, I'm taking a class on the history of modern Germany. And ironically, earlier today when I saw this is the first day it's out. It's November 5th, I believe, today. Or no, today is November 8th. I'm sorry. And ironically, today in my class, we talked about the anti-Semitism in Germany and what it was and what they said. And like, admittedly, it's kind of going to be tough for people to grasp. I can understand why people wouldn't enjoy this, in that, yes, it is making fun of Nazis, which might be hard for people to grasp. But if you're able to overlook that, like, they play up the kind of stupidity of what the Nazis would say about Jewish people. They control their minds. They have devil horns. They sleep upside down on the roof like a vampire. Like it pokes fun at the absurdity of anti-Semitism, but for a purpose. The purpose is to embrace love over hate. And that is what I love most about this movie, is that it's so effective in getting this message across. I really did not know that, I really didn't get how he was going to do it, but Taika Waititi did a phenomenal job. And yeah, I mean, that was kind of just an explosion of words. Often these audio editorials are more processing of my thoughts, but I think that that's a decent enough explanation of why I think this is so good. This, I really think, might be my favorite movie of the year so far. Definitely check this out. It is really good. It's really heartwarming. I definitely recommend this. All right, guys, thank you. So yeah, like I mentioned in the last audio editorial, we're not really doing reviews. I'm just doing these audio pieces because they're easier for me to produce. Producer Amanda is still over in Los Angeles, and I am here. And yeah, there's a couple movies coming up that we might be looking at. And I'm also watching right now, I'm working my way through the new Apple TV show Dickinson. I might do something on here about Dickinson, just kind of talking about why it works. Not sure, it depends on how much time I have. But movies coming up in November, there's a bunch. I'm going to probably do something for Knives Out, the new Rian Johnson movie. What else is there? There's a bunch of movies coming out. And of course, we have Star Wars in December. There's a lot, so stay tuned. A lot of it's going to be audio pieces like this. But yeah, thanks for